part slowed way down. Howdy y'all, you just heard my version of Salt Creek. No, not Salt Creek. Bill Cheatham. I'm sorry, I did like 4 versions of Salt Creek. I'm done with that song. But this is a version of Bill Cheatham. This actually isn't my complete original versions like most all my other vids are. This is my favorite banjo player in the world's version. That's Mr. Alan Mundy. He was my teacher for 2 years. I had that opportunity to go study under him, and 2 of the best years of my life. So thank you, Alan. And I've hijacked your version. I'm going to teach it to y'all today, which I know Alan doesn't mind at all. And you've already seen me slow it down, the A part, so now I'm just going to talk about it a little bit, just a couple little high points. One thing, and I'm talking mainly to you more beginning and intermediate players, one thing you need to get used to, that took me a while to get used to, it took me too long to get used to, and that was using alternate fingerings for strings. And what I mean by that is using, not only using your middle finger on just the high D string there. You need to get used to being able to use that finger on the B string, even on the G string. Same thing goes for our index finger and our thumb. When we first start playing, when we first start learning, it's really easy for us to get in this mindset that certain fingers are only meant for certain strings, and we need to expand that. We need to open our minds to using different fingerings on different strings. And so this version of Bill Cheatham gets you out of that box really quick, because the very first lick uses what I call an inside roll, and that is your D, your G, and your B string. Today we're capoed on the 2nd fret. I'm going to refer to my notes as if I wasn't capoed, but we start off using a forward roll on our 3 inside strings. Now if you've never done that before, it's going to feel weird. I played a couple of years before I ever used this middle finger on anything besides this high D string, because most Scruggs stuff, that's what you need. Okay? But when we get into more of this melodic stuff, and especially if you're going to study Alan's stuff and my stuff in turn, we're going to get into some awkward picking patterns. And that's good. Awkwardness is good a lot of times, and after a while, the good news is it doesn't feel awkward anymore. So I want you to go back. If you wonder what I was doing when you listen to that A part slow down, that's what's going on. Another thing about this A part that I like to point out is that besides all the inside rolls, is that there's just a lot of quick jumps with your left hand. Okay, it's in the B part too, but in order to get this song really clean, you're going to have to jump pretty fast, and therefore I encourage you to only take it as fast as you can, cleanly. Okay, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? So if you keep playing this song fast, too fast for you, it'll never ever get clean. So I know when I first started learning this version, I mean, I was sitting there playing it that slow. I really was, and then just slowly built it up. Okay, on to the B part. B part slowed way down. let's talk about this B part a little bit. It's kind of tricky. It's not a whole lot of trickiness really going on with the left hand. What's tricky about it is just getting there cleanly. As I mentioned before, we really need to play this only as slow or only as fast as you can go. It's really got Alan Mundy and genius written all over it. There's a lot of repetitiveness, which is cool for learning it. It makes it a little easier. And simplicity is better a lot of times. One difference that I will point out in the B part is at the top, at the end of the first phrase of the B part, or the first half, we do this, and I'm talking without a capo, but that would be your 9th and 10th capo here, or 9th and 10th fret. That little melodic run. Now the second time we come back, at the very end of the song before the ending, I flatted that. I went to the 8th fret. It's where it sounds like this, as opposed to, and that's just to give it a little bit of difference, a little bit of bluesy feel in there. Okay, now for the ending, as you know, a lot of times I like to use parts of the song that I've just played as the endings. I like all endings to kind of be unique. It's a habit of mine in the past to just kind of have these stock endings that I would always throw down, and which is fine. That's great. But one thing that I like about some of my favorite players, Alan included, is that he would really personalize each one of the endings. And I almost like to, just like when you listen to an intro of a singing song, you're like, oh yeah, that's sitting on top of the world. A lot of times I like my endings to be so unique that I can listen to the ending and be like, oh, that's my ending for Bill Cheatham, or that's my ending to Ground Speed, or whatever. And so that's what I've kind of done on this. Instead of the normal or whatever you may do, I thought since this is a melodic based song, we were going to do something different. Then we're going to go up to the top and kind of mimic that B part. Hope you enjoyed this version of Bill Cheatham. Adios.